Hello, everyone. Welcome to Essential Pedagogy Podcast. I'm Steph, the Educator, and I just want to just thank you guys for watching, for continuing to support me on YouTube and on this channel. I am so happy to be here today. Um, Guys, um, I just want to just reiterate and thank you for supporting me. Um, I just want to tell you, if you haven't tuned in before, I started this podcast wanting with an invigoration and a reestablishment of love for education. I was in a slump professionally. And this was around the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm gonna call it the pandemic because this is the only pandemic we were a part of in our lifetime. 2020, COVID 2020, or 2019, but we really realized it in America mostly in 2020. And so, want to just express to you that I was in a slump. I was not feeling great about my profession, but stepping away from it for a little while and having people seek my help and my professionalism with education helped me to really see other people and put myself in other people's shoes so that I can develop more compassion for all people that may not agree or understand what I do. I feel like I did not 100% understand what other people were going through in their homes. And once I was thrust into their homes in a tutoring session or an advocacy session, then I was able to really see the real struggles that a lot of people are having with education. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today, our topic is handling difficult people. Um, I was led to this topic because I am, even at my big age, that's what we call it now, it's big age, I have considered going back to school for my master's. I have had a lot of people tell me that I handle difficult situations well, I handle difficult people well. And when I started talking about, I think it was about a month ago, I talked about what was it? Standing on business and using definitive language. And so I'm going to talk more about that, but I'm going to get more specific in handling difficult people, being able to say no, diffusing rudeness, things like that. I've been reading about it. I've been recognizing some of the things that I do personally to manage people in my life. And when I say manage, I'm talking about managing students, managing tempers, managing temperaments, managing parents and their temperaments, and co-parents and extended family, and all of this. So let's get to it. So with handling difficult people, I want to talk about some of the things that you have to do within yourself, which is, I think I started handling difficult people in my life differently when I came to know myself. And I think I started to really get to know myself in college when people would come to me and talk to me and say that, I thought you came from a rich family. I mean, you walk around campus like with your head up high, like you came from royalty. And literally, I did not have any confidence whatsoever. I feel like I had my head up high because I was 4'8" or 4'9". Maybe I'm shrinking now. And I had to look up at everybody. And so people felt like I had my nose in the air or my head was up high, because literally is what I had to do to make sure I didn't run into people's waist. Okay. So understanding how people saw me and how I saw myself, and some of the divergence in those two things helped me to understand myself and what I was feeling and my emotions and what I portrayed to other people that may have been different, right? And it started making me try to understand myself and unpacked my emotions, and really to try to become emotionally intelligent. So the first thing I would advise to do in handling difficult people is to breathe. I know that sounds strange, but I just went on a cold dive. I went to a place called World Springs, and they had different types of waters around the world, or different ingredients in waters that mimic the seas of the world. And so there was like a Honduras pool. There is like a Dead Sea pool, and they heat up the pools at different temperatures, or they cool them down at different temperatures. And so, pardon me, I was able to experience the different minerals that they had to offer in different pools. And I experienced jumping in a warm pool, a very warm pool, like a 104. And that felt very comforting to the point where I wanted to go to sleep. And then I went to a sauna that was heated to 150 degrees. They also have one that's 170, and I don't know if it differs in the sauna, but I know they have different temperatures of the pools based on what the temperature is outdoors. So anyway, after I got out the sauna, I was with a friend of mine, a girlfriend's daughter, she's like my niece, teenager. So I said, girl, I'm going to do the cold dip. You're going to do it with me? She's like, yeah, I'm going to do it with you. Okay. So we go to the pool, and there was a guy in the pool already. And he was like, you coming? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, come on, just jump in, just do it. Just plunge. And I was like, okay, I'm a plunge. Okay. And I just was like, you know how you get ready. And soon as I got in, it took my breath away. And he said, if you don't breathe, you can hyperventilate. And he said, deep breaths. And I was like, all right. So it's amazing how controlling your breath can help you regulate your mind. And I was able to stay in that pool for a full minute. Now, that's my first time taking a cold plunge. This man stayed in 3 minutes. That water was at 52 degrees. It was about 78 degrees outdoors. And I had just come from a sauna that was 150 degrees. So it was cold. I was about to say some unsavory words, y'all. It was really, really cold. So it really did take my breath away. But breathing deeply helped me to regulate my emotions, to regulate my heart rate, to think straight, and to focus on, hey, I got a minute in here. I can do it. And I'm chest. I'm up to my chest in cold, cold water. Um, but breathing and controlled breathing for several seconds can help you regulate your mind and reframe things. So when you are handling difficult people, being silent and taking a time to breathe can help you. When someone is being difficult, a lot of times they are um, saying something sly or slick, they are saying things that could be offensive to you, sometimes just to get a reaction from you, just to get up under your skin. And so that's what makes a person difficult, is when they say things that they know that is offensive, or you in general, or they know that it can offend you personally. So it is helpful for you to take a breath for up to 7 seconds. That's a long time when you think about it. 5 to 7 seconds is a very, very long time in that moment, because you want to fire off something real slick back to them. And I have a slick tongue, usually ladies, we can come back and fire back real quick, um, real quick, because we operate on several cylinders, where some species will operate just on one. We have 7 to 8 to some people's one cylinder. So it takes self-control to take your 7 seconds, your 5 seconds, and then the second step is to ask them to say it again. Ask them to repeat it. So say, for instance, someone says, look who walked in. You late again. So you take your breath and you say, can you say that again? And then you can let that sit. And then they were like, yeah, I said this, that, and other. And I was like, what did you hope to accomplish by pointing that out? You could ask them a question, put it back in their lap. How do you think that's a good use of our time right now? Or did you think that was a good use of our time right now that I'm here? So those are some things that are some tactics you can use when you're handling difficult people, right? There's some direct insults, and then there's indirect insults. So when you're dealing with direct insults, these could be, let me see what my notes say. Oh my gosh. Direct insults is, you know, oh my gosh, it looks like you've lost weight finally, right? That's a direct insult, like on body shaming you, right? Indirect insults could be belittling you. One of the things that I have noted, and that bothers me, and a lot of people, doesn't bother other people, but when people say good for you, I don't always know how to take that, because the first time those words were used towards me that I noticed, someone was trying to belittle what was going on in my life. So um, finally, you lost some weight. Those kinds of things. With direct rudeness, you can give the silence and then ask them to repeat it. Now, when you have direct disrespect, right? When you have direct disrespect, when you tell them to repeat it, lots of times people are not going to take that opportunity to repeat. because it sounds so bad. In fact, you are really offering them the opportunity to rethink what they said and say, do you really want to stick with that? You really want to stick with saying something so rude in front of everybody, or just me and you? You really want to stick with that, right? You're giving them the opportunity to back away and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. And a lot of times they're going to do that. I didn't mean it that way. Sometimes if they meant it that way, they will try to hide behind a joke. And there's another thing that you can do when they do that. I'll talk to you about that later. But that can help. When they're indirect with their insult or disrespect, you can ask them what their intention was with that insult or comment. So you can say, what did you mean when you said da 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 da? And you can be quiet and let them explain. But first, you have to sandwich that into silence, ask the question, and more silence, and let it sit with them. This can help with email exchange, text exchange. What did you mean when you said this? How does it make you feel by saying that? How does it make you feel by saying that finally I lost weight? Honey child, I don't believe people can come up with an answer that will justify those rude words. And so when you do these kind of things, you bring out in them either the best in them or the coward in them. And so then you can put them where they belong in your life, powerless, basically. So that's how you can handle those types of situations. You can diffuse rudeness by, for example, when you ask someone to repeat what they said, their insult, you're asking them to commit to their words. And so really, it goes back to me when I said your yes is your yes and your no is your no. Then you understand the kind of person you may have already known this person is wicked, or have ways to make them feel like they can relish in someone else's negativity. But you're giving them an opportunity to either commit to their words or not. Because if you're an upstanding person, you're going to commit to your words, and making them say or repeat the thing that they said before that was offensive helps you to make them be the kind of person that they want to be. Either you're going to be the kind of person be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, or they're going to really dig their heels in and be somewhat of a despicable person and commit to the negativity. Okay, so that's one way to handle difficult people. Another way to handle difficult people is to not even engage in conversations that you're not ready to have. And a lot of people will try to bait you into having a conversation when, like, catching you off guard. Say, for instance, you just walked in the door. You got your hands full of your laptop, your coffee in your hand. You haven't even gotten to your office or your classroom or what have you, and they want to talk about something imminent or something very important that is not going to be a opportune time for you to discuss it, or you're not in a frame of mind, or you've gone through all the day and you're tired and weary from dealing with so many students and parents and everything. And now they want to just talk to you in passing about something very important. If you're not ready to have a conversation, sometimes if you express that, hey, I'm not ready to have this conversation right now, it can seem like you're avoiding the conversation. And if you cut them off, it can seem like you're avoiding the conversation, you're being rude. However, if you let them say whatever they're going to say, you be silent for a second, and then you'll say, I can tell I'm too tired for this conversation. This is at the end of the day. I can tell I'm too tired for this conversation. Can we put this on the schedule for another day or tomorrow or whenever? You can say, I can tell I'm not ready for this conversation. I can tell that I'm feeling a little irritated. So I need to have a better mindset for this conversation. I can tell I'm getting defensive. I can tell that this is upsetting me. And so that can be an introduction to you rescheduling that conversation until you're in a better frame of mind. You do not have to engage in a conversation that you're not ready for. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there too. I had a situation recently with a friend that the conversation, this person is not a difficult person. However, the conversation turned kind of sideways. Have you ever had a friend where you just having a perfectly good conversation and then somebody gets offended somehow and you don't know how it turned sideways? Well, I was having a conversation with a friend, and this conversation turned very sideways quick, because when I said what I said, the person was like, well, I feel like you didn't have to go there. And I was like, go where? What are you talking about? Like, so it's like, can you help me understand? Right? That's another one too. Can you help me understand where this is coming from? Explain to me more, you know, what's making you feel this way, right? And so the person was like, I felt offended because you know this. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I was this. And so you telling me that may offended me because I already know what to do, and I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that has had a friend to take something that you said and just go sideways with it. That's not even what you meant. But there's definitely misunderstandings. And so you can use the absence of words to get back on track, because when you're handling difficult people or difficult situations, because sometimes it's not a person that's necessarily, we're going to categorize them as difficult, but the situation or the conversation has become difficult for us. Our object is not to win. Our object, the object of this is to save the relationship or salvage it for what it is. So it may not be a perfect relationship, but to salvage whatever the relationship is so that it is not deteriorated any further, right? So when someone goes left, automatically pausing and letting them get out everything they got to say when they go left speaks louder than any words that you can say. And it's not really a tactic. I feel like it's really a way for you to be like, wait a minute, I don't even know where this came from. I need to digest and try to figure out where you're coming from so that I can tell you exactly what my intentions were. And so not so much being apologetic, because if you didn't have horrible intentions, then you saying, I'm sorry you feel that way is not a good, it's not a good apology. So I really feel like apologies are overused, and you just like, you just want to understand the person and then make sure that they understand where you were coming from, and not so much having an apology. Do you host online coaching sessions about these topics? Aw, that's so sweet. I don't, but I guess I could. uh, but pausing, um in the absence of words, can really, really help salvage what could be a deteriorated relationship. So, in lieu of saying, "Why are you so worked up?" I didn't say anything, or I didn't mean it that way, or going back and forth. Sometimes you being quiet speaks louder than having words. And I'll tell you, when the conversation went left, I was quiet. I listened. And so then my friend was like, "Why are you quiet?" And quite frankly, I was like, "Well, friend, I just want to let you know that's not what I meant. But there's nothing I could say right now. Like, what would you like for me to say to make you feel better about this conversation? That's not what I meant. Um, I did not mean for you to take it that way. I'm sorry that, or you could see that apology, because I am bad on apologies. I would say I'm sorry for stuff I'm not sorry for. Like, I just said to her, that's not what I meant. And I was quiet. And I said, I don't know what you would like for me to say at this moment to make you feel better. I did not mean to make you feel bad. That's not where my heart was. And so after a while, she was like, I just wanted to get my point across, yada, yada. I bet I know that my friend was feeling bad about certain things. And we all tend to feel bad about things that we feel like we're falling short on, when we feel like we should be the experts. Like, I feel like I should be an expert at teaching and controlling the classroom and in controlling behaviors. But when things get out of hand, like y'all, last week before spring break, this little boy had an incident with glue. And this other little boy pushed him so hard he fell and slid across the room. Now, I don't have fights in my classroom. And certainly the little boy who pushed the other little boy, listen, he's gifted. He don't bother nobody. I was like, what on earth has happened? And I just lost it, right? I was like, what is going on? Both of you in the hallway right now. I'm like, I lost it, y'all. So anyway, when someone feels like they are supposed to be in control of something and they're not, it's so easy to get offended over things that you should have control over. But I'm going to tell you one thing. God is in control of everything. We are in control of very little. We are. I find that giving a pause when people expect for you to say something and I do not, this is usually when people want you to agree with them, want you in their amen corner, or they are really wanting your opinion on something. They really want your opinion on something, but only if it is in their amen corner. And I know everyone has been in this situation where you have a friend and they're going on and on about this little thing that they may be talking about, or a big thing, right? And then they are pausing and they're like, right? and so I'm just pausing with them. And so people will say, Uh, don't you agree? Or what do you think? And in order for it not to be a dynamic where we are debating who is right, and it's a matter of opinion, I just say, I really don't have an opinion on that. I feel like you could do what you feel is right on this. If I disagree, I feel like me debating about my disagreement, if they feel passionate enough, it's not going to create a situation that's going to salvage our relationship. Because a lot of times it's a topic of me having an opinion on their relationship with someone else, like their relationship with their mother, or their relationship with their roommate, or their relationship with their spouse. And especially if I'm not trying to insert myself in those situations, you may, or yourself in the situation, you may choose to stay neutral. And the way you can stay neutral is saying, I don't have an opinion on that. Now, that may evoke a little discomfort on their part, but friend, I support you in whatever you decide to do. But I don't have an opinion on that. Everything is going to affect you, not me. And you can just reiterate that. That's going to affect you, not me. Sometimes when people are quiet and they go on and on and on about something that may have offended them, if a conversation has gone left, they may expect you to explain or apologize, and your silence can indicate that I don't deem that there's an apology needed in this moment. That I don't deem that there's an explanation in this moment for you. The term "it is what it is" comes to mind when you're in that situation. So silence or a pause can definitely communicate that more than your words. Um, let's see. Oh my gosh, this is good, y'all. Okay, so I was writing some notes on some things I've learned about this. Silence is a number one killer of a lie. Woo, girl. Okay, y'all, guy, everybody, listen. Okay, it's my last point, and I'm going to recap. So, silence can be the number one killer of a lie. Say, for instance, someone is telling you that they went to the gas station and they had spent time at this gas station and doing such and such. Instead, they were at at an inappropriate place, at the bar or whatever. They're just lying, right? You engaging in the conversation with this person is what they want, so that they can get you further and further from the truth, so that they can get you to doubt your own words. So the more words you use, they can make you doubt it. So when you stay silent over that, then you disarm that lie, and they don't know what to do with it. So, okay. And this has, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was true until it was really presented and I did some study about it. So anyway, so say for instance, somebody says, hey, I was at the gas station. I was not at the bar, yada, yada. So they'll say, I was at the gas station. I was at the gas station. You know this, right? And so you can be silent for 5 seconds, look at them, and repeat what they said. So you were at the gas station. Is that what I'm understanding? Then they'll say, yeah, I was at the gas station. Yada, yada, yada. And instead of you talking about them being at the gas station or not, right? You can say, I want to revisit this conversation at another time. Let me tell you something. It slows down the lie. They're trying to figure out what you know or don't know, and all of that. It disarms the lie. It disarms the lie. It is so amazing how this works. Control silence, control breathing. Um, it disarms the lie. Repeat, being quiet, repeating the lie, or saying to them, um, let's revisit this conversation. But you repeat what the lie is after several seconds. So you were at the gas station. I want to revisit this conversation in a bit. Leave it at that. Now they're going to be trying to backtrack or talk or whatever. And you have just disarmed that lie. I'm telling you guys, that works every single time. And you don't know, everybody I feel like everybody has used this, but you don't get to this point until someone has lied to you several times over and over and over again, to the point you be like, all right then. You say what now? But if it's a first time and you know that someone's lying to you, then you are less likely to disarm them. You're likely to argue your point. No, you weren't, because I know. Because you don't even have any receipts. What? So and so saw you at the bar, right? That is, especially with a gaslighter, that's so much ammunition to get you to think about something that is totally irrelevant, or to rethink what you know is facts, right? So I want to talk to you guys about handling difficult people. Oh, before I'm going to wrap this up. We talked about boundaries before, and making your yes, and your no, your no. When you don't use definitive words, we talked about this before, when we say essentially, basically, just, so, maybe. Those are words that convey that you're not sure about what you're saying. So it makes your yes weaker and your no weaker. So when you have boundaries and you want to say no to someone, and you say, I'd like to go, but, those are words that just erases what you said beforehand. You don't have to say, I'd like to go, but. You can say, I can't. Start with what you want to say. No. This is going to be a no because of this. Or I can't. Not even an excuse sometimes. You don't have to use an excuse. You could say, I can't, but I'm sure you're going to have a great time. I can't make it, but I'm sure you're going to have a great time. I'll see you on the next occasion. If there's a person that you just feel like that this is not the kind of relationship that you're going to have, to have out, and they keep asking you out, I'm going to leave this as a work relationship. You got to be a strong-minded person to say that. But that is another way you can let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. And I'm going to tell you, you may think that people will not like you or treat you different based on you saying, I'm going to leave this as a work relationship. But I really believe that people will respect knowing where you are in their life, instead of dancing around, well, maybe, having an excuse, being wishy-washy and things like that. If you are not the kind of person to fraternize with someone, outside of work, then you can just say that. I do not fraternize with work colleagues, but thank you for the invite. That's it. That is it. Hi, Jason Scott. How are you? So I just want to recap. Let's recap. So our recap is handling difficult people, controlling your breathing, asking people to repeat themselves, letting it sit, asking people what they mean by some difficult, indirect, or direct disrespect, diffusing rudeness by not giving a response immediately, not acknowledging you're not ready to have a conversation when you're not, using the words, I can tell I'm feeling this. I can tell I'm too tired for this conversation. I can tell I'm getting defensive. Being silent when people are getting upset or if conversations are going to the left. Having a intentional silence, and then diffusing a lie with silence and repeating the lie. When you repeat erroneous things or rude things to people, you give them the opportunity to be the person that they truly are. And so then you get to understand where they are, who they are, and then you understand how to move forward in the relationship. So I've been reading the Let Them Theory book, and it's been a very good book for me to read. And I can't think of her name is Robs. I'll give you guys the actually let me find it on my phone, y'all, and then we're gonna end, okay? Audible. Y'all, I am such a Audible girl. What's her name? Was it? Okay. Let Them by Mel Robbins. She has a really good book about letting people be who they are, and then you making a decision to do the things that you need to do in order to run your life the way you need to. It is a very good book for me. And I find that I do a lot of these strategies, but now I can intentionally use the strategies when I feel like things are hard and I have a name for them, right? So I hope this was helpful. I hope this is like a continuation of standing on business and using strong language and not being a weak-minded person, but really being strong-minded and understanding where, letting people let you know where they stand by being the best person and using your words appropriately. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps someone. I use this all the time with people because I have so many difficult situations, especially with parents and administration. And I just want to let you guys know that these strategies can be used in any situation, friends, spouse, whatever. And I hope they're useful to you. Until next time, guys, I say way too much, and I'm going to work on that. Next time in 2 weeks, I will see you on Essential Pedagogy Thursday nights at 8 p.m. I'm also on YouTube, Essential Pedagogy. Please subscribe and like my channel there. I'm not getting a lot of play, and I want to, y'all. I want to get the word out. So hopefully if I'm helping you guys, let me know. Let me know if I'm helping you. Okay? Until next time, y'all. See you later.